الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. We give thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for bringing us back again this year. So like we all know, we have our Professor Lateef Oladimeji in our midst last year for a brief lecture, which we all enjoy. And alhamdulillah, he's here again after all this pandemic and everything that went on in this world. So adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé a ní àǹfààní láti ti lè rí wọn, a rí àwọn náà dẹ̀ rí wa. Ilé tí wọ́n bá sọ ilé lórílẹ̀ ní ọ̀nà ní gbogbo àgbẹjọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ Ramadan, ọ̀nà ló dẹ̀ ń lọ sí parí yìí. Gbogbo náà là ń sáré tí wọ́n pẹ́ ọ̀kan tó tún kù yìí, a mọ̀ rò pé bí apítílẹ̀ bá mọ́ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ ká mọ̀ sọdún ni. Wọ́n gbà tá a dẹ̀ rósù, a mọ̀ pé gbogbo àti mọ̀ pé ìjọ Monday ni ọdún máa bọ́ sí pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run ọba. Tẹ́lẹ̀ ní ó wá jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ bá lọ jẹ́ the last Ramadan tá a ṣe láyé, báwo la ṣe pìpì alẹ̀ fún gbogbo àwọn kan yìí náà ni wọ́n bá a sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórílẹ̀ ní nítorí àsìkò wákàtí kan òun náà ni gbogbo. It's only just 1 hour lecture inshallah. So if we do 45 minutes, then have a question and answer for 15 minutes, fine. But if you take the whole 1 hour for the lecture, there's no problem about that inshallah. So kí Ọlọ́run kí ó bá gbà fún yín ní orúkọ àwọn àbáwá àgbà àfàdílà ṣe Yusuf Jùmọ̀ Ọlálẹ́yẹ. À ń kí yín pé adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run tí ọba sọ wa ní àti èsì tó ní àtúnpàdé lórúkọ àwọn bàbá wa gbogbo àwọn elétò, the executive from our president Alhaji Muhammadu Taofeek Abiodun Ali, the board of trustees from the chairman of board of trustees Alhaji Abdullahi Musa Ogiefo, gbogbo àwọn ìyá àdínì, ìyá súnà, aṣáájú àdínì, balógun àdínì, bàbá àdínì, bàbá súnà àdínì, all the àdínis gbogbo náà ni wọ́n kí yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí again pé ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaba bikum. So our professor wa inshallah, I will hand over to you inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful, Almighty Allah, the wise, the nourisher, the sustainer of the entire universe, Allah, the creator of all the entire creatures, the one that creates without anyone creating him, the one that has no beginning and has no end. Almighty Allah, who provides and nothing provides for him. Almighty Allah, who ordains and nothing orders for him. He has ordained the entire month of Ramadan and he has given it to the Muslims as a charge, just as he has done to those before us. I give praise to him. I thank him for his countless blessings on me and you, my brothers and sisters. I seek refuge from my shaitan, the accursed. And I start this very short speech in the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. My protocols will go to the entire brothers and sisters, especially from our Fadila to Sheikh, Imam, Olalekan, and all the entire members of Nigerian Muslim Council. I pray Allah to continue to be with you, to continue to guide you, and to continue to reward you for all these meritorious services before, during, and after the month of Ramadan, inshallah. Mo bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba aláàánú jùlọ, olóore ọ̀fẹ́, aládìpẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀san, kí ó dákun kó bá wa ṣe dáadáa fún gbogbo àwọn Nigeria Muslim Council bẹ̀rẹ̀ látorí bàbá wa àgbà, bàbá wa Imam Fadilatu Sheikh Imam Olalekan, àti gbogbo àwọn tí Ọlọ́run bá rọ̀gbà tó fi rọ̀gbà ká wọn, gbogbo àwọn elétò pátápátá tí ó pé mi ò ní lè máa dárúkọ yín ní kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ọlọ́run bá mọ̀ yín. Mo bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó dákun, òun lọ́ba tó máa ń ṣàánú ẹ̀dá, kó bá wa ṣàánú yín, kó bá wa fún yín ní ládá olóore fún gbogbo àwọn ìgbìyànjú wọ̀nyí kí Ramadan tó dé, nígbà tí Ramadan tún dé, àti lẹ́yìn tí a bá parí Ramadan náà tán. Àmín. Ní orúkọ Ọlọ́run ọba yìí, òun náà la fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ ètò yìí. Ǹjẹ́ tán bá ní kan bi wá léèrè tí Ramadan eléyìí tá ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ yìí, tọ́lọ́run bá ní pé eléyìí ni òpin, the last one téèyàn ó ní láyé láti wọ àlìjẹ́nnà, how prepared are we in case you have the opportunity to know that this might be your last Ramadan, the one that you will use to enter Al-Jannah to Firdaus? What if you have the privilege that somebody was able to peep to you and let you know that this one you are having is your last chance, like some people will say? How prepared are we? And that will be the thrust of our discussion. But let me remind us from the beginning that Ramadan is an opportunity which Allah has given us as Muslims to be able to enter into the fold of the righteous. There are other months in the year which Almighty Allah has chosen for us. These holy months have been specifically designed by Allah for the purpose of getting us each of our days of life and how to reckon them with Almighty Allah. But out of His own wisdom and His own mercy, He has chosen Ramadan as the one whereby there will be culmination of all those benefits. There will be the combination of all those rewards. And He has chosen Ramadan to be the period to grant us the fullest of all these rewards. We are all very conscious of the fact that the Quran chapter 2 verse 183 specifically came up to tell us, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Meaning, all ye who believe. This time around, Allah is talking only to the Muslims, to the believers. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. We have chosen for you, we have ordained for you, we have commanded for you the fasting in the month of Ramadan. Kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Just as we have done to those generations before you. Then the baseline here, the statement which Almighty Allah is commanding us on here is for one purpose. And that purpose is la'alakum tattaqun, so that you may be pious, so that you may be righteous, so that you may lead a life full of benefits of Almighty Allah. That's been the undertone issue in Ramadan. Then there is the need for us to seriously look into it and search our minds that a Muslim should endeavor to make sure that the benefits and the rewards which Almighty Allah has put in the month of Ramadan does not elude him or her. Ìdí t'Ọlọ́run fi gbé Ramadan kalẹ̀, òun náà ni pé ká bá lè jẹ́ olùpáyà rẹ̀, ká bá lè jẹ́ olùsìn Ọlọ́run ọba rẹ̀, ká bá lè jẹ́ ẹni tí ó wà nínú ẹni tí ó là níhìn ayé àti ní òde àlìkìyámà. Tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ìdí t'Ọlọ́run fi gbé Ramadan kalẹ̀ yìí, àṣé ìpèníjà ló jẹ́ fún gbogbo mùsùlùmí pé Ọlọ́run ọba ń ṣe alápáǹtètè, àwọn wo ni ó ṣoríire o, àwọn wo ni ó wọ ọgbà àlìjánnà o. Nínú oṣù méjìlá t'Ọlọ́run ọba dá, ó wá fi Ramadan yóò fi ṣe ìkan nínú àwọn ìgbà tí èèyàn ó lọ fún training, téèyàn ó lọ kẹ́kọ̀ọ́, téèyàn ó gba àwọn oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀kọ́ tí ó tún lè máa lò láwọn oṣù mọ́kànlá yìí tó kù. Àṣẹ t'Ọlọ́run fi ṣe léyìí fún wa ni pé tá a bá dúró dáadáa, tá a gbọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ dáadáa, tá a sì farabalẹ̀ dáadáa nínú Ramadan, tá a wá lo gbogbo àwọn mánigbàgbé àǹfààní tó wà nínú rẹ̀, àṣé àwọn oṣù mọ́kànlá yìí tó kù àti ní ara wa, àti dira wa ní òṣùṣù ọwọ̀, àti dira wa mú, àti gba ohun tí ń jẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ eléyìí tá a lè máa lò nínú àwọn oṣù tó kù. Tá a bá wò dáadáa, tá a bá fún wa ní opportunity pé ẹ ti ń gba Ramadan náà bó ti pẹ́ 20 ọdún, 30 ọdún, 40 ọdún, 50 ọdún àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Eléyìí òun ni a fi ṣe àṣekágbá ètò fún yín. Tá a bá ń sọ fún yín pé Ọlọ́run jẹ́ apẹ́ láyé, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ apẹ́ láyé, Ọlọ́run. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Lára àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ yìí tó jẹ́ wípé Mùsùlùmí ó kọ́ nínú Ramadan, àkọ́kọ́ níbẹ̀ òun náà ni pé ìjuwọ́jú sẹ́lẹ̀ fún Ọlọ́run Ọba. Complete submissions to the will of Allah. It is Allah that has commanded Ramadan fast, and it is only Him that will reward whoever has been able to go through it for 29 or 30 days. Submission to the will of Allah. When Ramadan is coming, preparations are made. These preparations include spiritual preparation, which is the highest of all preparations. وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Ẹ gbìyànjú, ẹ ṣe ìpalẹ̀mọ́ tí Ramadan bá ń bọ̀. Àmọ́ èyí tó lọ́lá jù, tó dáa jù, òun náà ni àlékún nínú ìpáyà Ọlọ́run Ọba, taqwallah. Ìpalẹ̀mọ́ yìí ó wà látara pé bó o la ṣe wà sí kí Ramadan ó tó dé yìí. Àkọ́kọ́ ń bẹ, ìmánì wa ǹjẹ́ àyẹ̀wò. How stable is our iman? Is it that anytime we have any setback, we revert to saying some other things that are not in tune with the attribute of a believer? Is it when we have a negative thing happening to us, we tend to say some things that will send to Almighty Allah how ingrate we are to Him? So, the first is to check our iman. Our iman must be intact. Imanu billah, wal malaika, wa kutub, wal rasul. Àwọn ìgbàgbọ́ wa, òun náà ni alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tá a kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ dìmú kí Ramadan tó dé. Ká check ara wa wò. Báwo la ṣe gba Ọlọ́run Ọba gbọ́ sí? Ṣé táwọn nǹkan kan bá ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa ní òdì kejì, àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí ń jáde lẹ́nu wa ṣọ̀rọ̀ tó yẹ kó jáde lẹ́nu Mùsùlùmí ni? Torí pé kí ni? Tibitire ńlá dálé ayé. We have both positive and negative things happening to us in life. When the positive happens to us, is it only then that we remain Muslims? And when we have a short setback, that tends to show Allah that we are not grateful to Him. Lára eléyìí, ìpalẹ̀mọ́ wa ni pé kí Ramadan ó tó dé, ká yẹ ìmánì wa wò. Ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì, òun náà ni ìrun kíkí wa, bó ṣe ń ṣe ségesège, ṣé a ti dúró déédéé kí Ramadan tó dé. Tá bá wọnú Ramadan, a rí wípé a tún fúnra wa ní ìjánu ju bó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. Mọ́ṣáláṣí ń kún ju bó ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. Ìjọsìn wa fọ́lọ́run Ọba ó tún lékún nínú Ramadan. A kí tarawih lálẹ́, a kí tahajjud lóru, a yan nawafil lọ́tún lósì. Nípa bámbárì ni pé kíké Quran wa nínú Ramadan ó máa ń lékún sí. Kódà àwọn tí wọ́n mọ ẹ̀kọ́ kankan nípa Quran, àwọn náà gbé kíṣẹ̀ tí wọ́n máa gbọ́ Quran. Warattil Qur'ana tartila. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ohun t'Ọlọ́run bá pa wá láṣẹ pé ìrẹ́ Ànábì Muhammad sọ fáwọn àlìhùmmà rẹ̀ pé kí wọ́n máa kíké al-Qur'an ní gbogbo ìgbà, pàápàá jùlọ nínú oṣù Ramadan. torí nínú oṣù yìí náà la sọ al-Qur'an al-Karim kalẹ̀ fún òjíṣẹ́ ńlá Ànábì wa Muhammad. Therefore, our preparations and our beginning of Ramadan fast usher in quite a very vibrant opportunity for us to attain that Al-Jannah which Almighty Allah has promised only the believers. 1, we check our Iman. 2, we check our Salat, how regular and how constant and consistent are we in observance of our 5 daily prayers. Remember that these canonical prayers have been put in place by Allah to check us from all illicit affairs. When the Quran says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa aqimus salat, inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar, and observe prayers, surely prayers will guide you away from all acts of indecency and straighten your path with Almighty Allah. Ìrun kíkí tẹ̀rí yẹn tó jẹ́ wípé ó kéré tán lẹ́ẹ̀márùn lójúmọ́ Ọlọ́run bá pa wá láṣẹ láti máa kí. Òun náà ni ọ̀nà kan láti tì wá kúrò níbi iṣẹ́ aburú àti láti tì wá sójú ọ̀nà dáadáa. Gbogbo ìgbà tá bá ti ń kírun, tá ń kí lásìkò rẹ̀, tá ń kí pẹ̀lú májẹ̀mú rẹ̀, tá ń kí pẹ̀lú àwọn tọ́lọ́run bá Ànábì wa Muhammad náà tó fi kọ́ wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àwọn ṣurutu salat. A rí wípé àwa àtọ́lọ́run ọba à ń communicate, a sì ń rí pé chain tó wà láàrin àwa àti Ọlọ́run ọba ẹ̀dẹ́dàá wa à ń maintain ẹ̀. Maintenance of that chain of and bond between you and your creator is through the salat. What is khushu' in salat? Is full concentration, full attention, and ensuring that you do not deviate your mind for a second throughout the prayer of salat. That is the essence of observing the salat in the acceptable manner. Therefore, we realize that in the month of Ramadan, Muslims increase their awareness of punctuality and regularity in the observance of salat. Those who hitherto before Ramadan were having lesser fair attitude about the salat, they become more focused, they become more regular, they become more constant in the month of Ramadan. And that is the essence of Ramadan being la'allakum tattaqun, so that you can attain piety, so that you can be in line with those who are righteous and who are devoted to Almighty Allah. In addition, the third pillar of Islam, zakat, has come to play again in the holy month of Ramadan. At the end of Ramadan, there is the payment of zakatul fitr. This time around, the zakat that shares from the food items that are common in our community, in our environment, share them with the less privileged members of the society. Give them a day to the commencement of Ramadan fast, to the end of Ramadan fast. Like today, when Ramadan is getting to an end, is the period for us to start the giving out of our zakatul fitr. And we do that up till the morning of Eid, which inshallah is tomorrow, and we give it out before we go for the salat. Whoever does not give it out and comes back from salat to give it out, we only have the reward of sadaqah among several sadaqah. But those who give it out before the prayer, the Eid prayer, is the one that will have the full reward of zakatul fitr. So zakat is another conscious effort to close the gap between the rich and the poor in the society. Mímá yọ zakatul fitr wa nínú Ramadan, òun náà ni ọ̀nà kan gbòógì tọ́lọ́run tó ń fi ń fọ àwẹ̀ wa mọ́ àwọn kùdìẹ̀kudiẹ, àwọn àbàwọ́n tó jẹ́ wípé a lè má ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹlẹ́ran ara nínú Ramadan, àwọn tí ò yẹ ká rí tá à ń rí, àwọn tí ò yẹ ká gbọ́ tá à ń gbọ́, àwọn tí ò yẹ ká sọ lẹ́nu jáde tó tún ṣèṣì jáde lẹ́nu wa nínú Ramadan. Ọ̀nà kan tá a fi lè fọ́mọ́ òun náà ni pé tó bá ti di pé Ramadan wa ń parí báyìí, Ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sọ fún wa pé zakatul fitri òun náà ni pé ká fún àwọn èèyàn, àwọn aláìní ládùúgbò wa àbí láàrin àwùjọ wa, ká fún wọn ní eléyìí tó jẹ́ múdù àwọn oúnjẹ eléyìí tó popular láàrin wa púpọ̀ jù, ká fún wọn. Nínú oṣù Ramadan yìí òun náà la rí pé àwọn mùsùlùmí ń ṣe ìtọrẹ àánú ju ti tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ. Wọ́n ti ròyìn pé Ànábì wa Muhammad náà nínú àwọn ẹgbà wa ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ pé Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tẹ́ rí yẹn, àwọn sàábí sọ pé kánà jawad, Ànábì tá rí yẹn ọlọ́wọ́ gbọgbọrọ ni tí máa ń ṣètọrẹ àánú, wa kana ajwaduhu fi shahri Ramadan. Ṣùgbọ́n àlékún tún máa ń dé bá ṣíṣàánú látọ̀dọ̀ Ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam sáwọn aláìní, ìmọ̀ lékún jù nínú Ramadan. The Prophet is a generous person, but he becomes more generous in the month of Ramadan. This is what many of us copy, that in the month of Ramadan, we give out charity more than ever before, more than the other months. We give out charity to assist the less privileged members of the society, to close the gap between the rich and the poor, which is the main agenda of Islam as a religion that comes to cater for the less privileged members of the society. Therefore, these activities in the month of Ramadan has provided us and prepared us for the task ahead, the task of being among al-muttaqin, the highest rank that a Muslim should try to attain in life is how to be al-muttaqin, the pious one, because no other person should claim piety. La tusaku anfusakum huwa a'lamu biman ittaqa. Do not claim to be pious. Allah knows those who are pious. Piety is the main issue, main agenda of Ramadan fast. And every aspect, every activity that we embark upon in the month of Ramadan is telling us and moving us towards how best to be a pious Muslim. Therefore, if you are now asked that in case this is your last Ramadan, how are you going to maximize all these activities so that you will have a full reward and be fully prepared to meet your Lord? In case you don't know, it is with Almighty Allah how long you are going to stay in this world, how many Ramadan fasts you will observe in your life. No other person can tell you. That knowledge is with Almighty Allah. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I am calling our attention to the fact that this Ramadan fast that we should maximize it in case in Allah's record, this is your last Ramadan. One, ensure that you have a full reward of all the multidimensional, multifaceted benefits that Allah has put in the month of Ramadan. Each item, mark yourself and see how best you have the fullest reward so that you are meeting your Lord well prepared, fully prepared to meet him and to attain that highest degree in the sight of Allah with paradise. Let me call our attention again to the fact that in the holy month of Ramadan, Almighty Allah has set for us a standard. That standard can only be attained by those whom Allah has given the opportunity to put their best in the month of Ramadan. That standard can only be attained by those who are conscious of their religion and they are moving towards perfection of life. There is no doubt that as human beings, we have some negative side of our life. We have some aspect of our life that we incur the sin one way or the other. Nobody is perfect. But because we are not perfect, we utilize the month of Ramadan to ask for Allah's forgiveness, because He is a Ghafurun ar-Rahim. Almighty Allah is the one that forgives and the one that blesses. Therefore, in case this is your last Ramadan, how prepared are you to seek for Allah's forgiveness for all your multifarious sins, all the mistakes of life you have made? The best time to record yourself with Allah and to reconcile yourself with His grace is the holy month of Ramadan. More importantly, if you got to know that this is your last chance. In the month of Ramadan, we come to realize that Muslims have been able to have what is called the attainment of unity, the attainment of brotherhood, and the attainment of piety as well as righteousness through various deeds of life. How many of us in the past do share from our own resources with our fellow brothers? How many of us before Ramadan do pay visits to our fellow Muslims who are in need, either in the hospitals or in the remand homes, or having one challenge of life or the other? In the month of Ramadan, we increase our ziyarah. We visit ourselves. We ask about ourselves. We exchange pleasantries among ourselves. We feel the pangs as well as what our fellow Muslim brother is going through in the month of Ramadan. In fact, many of us are used to organizing group visits to others within our community who are having issues with life. The best opportunity we have is that the month of Ramadan gives us that period to reflect and to maintain the Islamic brotherhood. Maintenance of this brotherhood, therefore, is a very strong effort on the part of fellow Muslims, and for which Almighty Allah is rewarding us every aspect of our life. Therefore, if you have the opportunity of having this as your last Ramadan, won't you increase that meritorious act and ensure that as many times as possible you pay visits to your colleagues, your fellow Muslim brothers? You feel, you sympathize with them, you empathize with them, you give them words of courage, and for those of them who have suffered one thing or the other, you are there to console them and to provide very sweet words for them, because Allah has commanded us to be our brother's keeper. If we are our brother's keeper and we maintain that brotherliness, it means therefore that our religion will be easy for us to practice. And throughout the month of Ramadan, Muslims are doing just that. Therefore, we have the reward of being among those who share our time, our feelings with our fellow Muslim brothers. We do not just sit down in our house, in the opulence of our offices, and enjoy the rahmah which Almighty Allah has given us, but we take time to share them with our fellow Muslim brothers. That is one of the meritorious deeds in the month of Ramadan. How many of us are ready to maximize this in case this is your last Ramadan on earth? I ask my fellow Muslim brothers and sisters that the month of Ramadan is a period of reflection about our past deeds and how best we could cleanse ourselves in the month of Ramadan to prepare for the other months that are coming. How do we do this? Is by ensuring that we increase our amal, our activities in the month of Ramadan, to get ourselves fully prepared, to tidy up the past, and to charge ourselves for the future. Because Almighty Allah has told us that as Muslims, we have a duty to ensure that we do not miss the opportunity of Ramadan because it comes but once in a year. Another very important area that Ramadan has come to train us in this period is how to avoid wastages. It's rough. By ensuring that we keep to ourselves only those things that we need. Muslims all over the world are very conscious in this month of Ramadan. There is an economic arrangement of our time. There is economic arrangement of our food, our resources. There is a well-planned period because as Ramadan approaches, we stock our house to get all that we need to move on in the month of Ramadan. Why did Allah allow us to take the sahur? It is because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said there is barakah there. Eat the sahur because Allah has put barakah there. And your iftar should be the one that will be within the limited resources. The one that will not encourage wastages. Therefore, the period of Ramadan provides us with how best to manage our resources without throwing them here and there, just anyhow. Muslims are encouraged to keep ourselves together and make sure that our food items, our clothing, our time, and all other resources around us are well kept and judiciously spent in the cause of Allah. Now that Ramadan is coming to an end, my dear brothers and sisters, are we going back to that period of wastages where we buy things that we do not need, where we spend money on things that are not necessarily on our list of needs? How do we live a life of modesty? Because modesty is the essence of Islam. It's one of the teachings of the month of Ramadan. Muslims today have come to realize that we are our best brother's keepers. And we should not forget the fact that we keep our promises, we keep our brotherliness, we keep our understanding of one another by making sure that the bond of relationship between us and our fellow Muslims are not broken. Ààrẹ ẹ̀kọ́ ọmọ nígbàgbé tí Ramadan tún kọ́ wa, òun náà ni wípé ọmọ ìyá Islam àárín ara wa, a jù sílẹ̀, à ń fi ìfẹ́ hàn sí ara wa nínú Ramadan ju oṣù míì lọ. Nínú Ramadan láti rí wípé a kóra wa jọ, a fẹ́ lọ kí àwọn ọmọ ìyá wa tán wà nínú ìgbèkùn, àbáwọn ọmọ ìyá wa tán wà nínú ìṣòro kan, àbáwọn ọmọ ìyá wa tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n kù díẹ̀ káàtó fún nínú àwọn wàhálà ilé ayé. À ń fi àsìkò lẹ̀ nínú Ramadan, a lọ ń kí wọn, a lọ ń ṣàdúà fún wọn, a lọ ń fún wọn ní àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìdùnnú láti lè rí pé àwọn náà wọ́n jẹ ọlá àwọn oore tí ń bẹ nínú Ramadan. Tí Ramadan bá ti wá ń parí báyìí, tá bá ní àǹfààní àti mọ̀ wípé Ramadan eléyìí o, òun náà mọ̀ lọ́lọ́run fi ṣe òṣùwọ̀n iṣẹ́ wa. Ǹjẹ́ àtúní ṣe àlékún àwọn iṣẹ́ olóore wọ̀nyí ká bàa lè gba ládá ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ níwájú Ọlọ́run, ká bàa lè wà níwájú Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú oore àti ládá tó jẹ́ pé ó kún rẹ́rẹ́ tọ́lọ́run lóhun fún ẹni tí ń gbààwẹ̀ nínú Ramadan. Mímáa ṣèrànlọ́wọ́ fún ara wa, mímáa rántí àwọn aláìní tó, mímáa ṣàánú àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé wọ́n ń fẹ́ ìrànlọ́wọ́ wa nínú Ramadan ó ṣe pàtàkì. Tí Ramadan bá tún wá lọ tán náà, ká wá rí wípé a tún gbìyànjú rẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ pé lẹ́yìn náà ni the last one ká rí pé ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ rẹ̀ la ṣe ká bàa lè gba ládá ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ níwájú Ọlọ́run Ọba. Suratul Waqi'ah, Quran chapter 56, ó ṣàlàyé fún wa pé a'udhu billahi minash shaitonir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, idha waqa'atul waqi'ah laysa al-waqi'atun kadhibatun khafidatun rafi'ah idha rujjatul aridu rajjan wa bussatil jibalu basan fakanat haba'an munbathan wa kuntum azwajan thalathatan fa ashabul maymana ma ashabul maymana wa ashabul mashyamat ma ashabul mashyamat was-sabiquna sabiqun ulaika al-muqarrabuna fi jannatin na'im. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Ọlọ́run ní nígbà tá ń sọ ìbá dé, àsìkò wo ni? Àsìkò tí àwọn Ọlọ́run bá pa ká ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀, ta ní àsìkò tó, èyí tá ń sọ fún yín pé ọjọ́ àlìkìyámọ̀ fẹ́ dé, ó fẹ́ dé, ó fẹ́ dé, àwọn kan wá ń pè nírọ́. Kùránì ní tó bá dijọ́ náà, laysa al-waqi'atu kadhibatun. Àwọn tó máa ń sọ pé irọ́ ni na láì, àwọn náà ò ní lè sọ pé irọ́ ni mọ́, torí pé Ọlọ́run bá ti gbé ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ dé ògóńgó níjọ́ náà. Ọlọ́run rán wa létí níjọ́ náà pé tó bá dijọ́ tá wá ń sọ yìí, Ọlọ́run ó tò wá, yóò kó wa jọ. Yóò kó wa jọ lẹ́yìn tó bá ti palẹ̀ gbogbo amọ́ntìlẹ̀ tán pátápátá. Wa kuntum azwajan thalathatan. Tó bá dijọ́ gbéǹde àlìkìyámọ̀ yìí, lọ́jọ́ àkójọ tá ń sọ yìí, Ọlọ́run wá tó wá sáfù 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 sáfù. Sáfù mẹ́ta yóò fara hàn níjọ́ náà. Sáfù alákọ̀ọ́kọ́, òun náà ni sáfù àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé àwọn olóríire, àwọn tọ́lọ́run bá ṣe ṣàdánkátà fún, ẹ káre, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ ṣe dáadáa láyé. Quran ní oríire ní ń bẹ fáwọn sáfù apá ọ̀tún. Àwọn sáfù ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì, sáfù apá òsì, Ọlọ́run kà wá kún wọn. Àwọn wọ̀nyí máa ṣorí burúkú níjọ́ náà o, Ọlọ́run ṣe àṣorí burúkú. Àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé gbàtán ṣíwèé tí wọ́n wò, wọ́n wá rí wípé àwọn ò ní nǹkan kan níwájú Ọlọ́run Ọba, wọn ò ní rẹ́kọ́ọ̀dù tó dáa níwájú Ọlọ́run Ọba, negative ní rẹ́kọ́ọ̀dù wọn ṣó. Ọlọ́run má fi wá sínú sáfù ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì. Àwọn sáfù ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹta, òun náà wà láwọn tó jẹ́ wípé as-sabiquna sabiqun, àwọn tán ti kọjá lọ, tán ti ré kọjá, àwọn tán ti gbáwájú, àwọn ẹni ìṣáájú, ẹni ìṣáájú, ẹni ìṣáájú, tó jẹ́ wípé Ọlọ́run Ọba fúnra rẹ̀ wá ń sọ wípé àlìjẹ́nnà onídẹ̀ra lòun fi rọ́pò fún wọn. Ara àwọn àpẹẹrẹ yìí làwa náà wá ń fi ń kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́, káwa náà wà pẹ̀lú akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lára àwọn ìṣáájú, àwọn asahab tó ń tẹ̀lé ànábì wa Muhammad, àwọn tá bá ànábì wa Muhammad tí wọ́n bá ṣe wàhálà, tí wọ́n bá ṣe àwọn ètò láti rí pé Islam ó wà títí táwa fi dé pé àwa náà gba Islam lénìí. Àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé sàábẹ́ ànábì wa Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tó ń fẹ̀mí wọn lẹ̀, tó ń fi dúkìá wọn lẹ̀, tó ń fi gbogbo ìní wọn kalẹ̀, tó ń ti rántí pé àwọn ní nǹkan kan mọ́ táwọn fẹ́ lò láǹfààní fún ara àwọn ju pé káwọn ó jùlẹ̀ fi sabilillah, torí pé inna salati wa nuski wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. Àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé gbogbo ìrun wọn kíkí, gbogbo pẹ́pẹ́ fúrú wọn, gbogbo mímọ́ mi lọ sókè mímọ́ mi lọ sílẹ̀ wọn, àti tíkú wọn náà bá tún dé wọn wà pé Ọlọ́run Ọba ló ní. Àwọn wọ̀nyí àwa náà wá ń kọ́ṣe wọn nínú Ramadan láti rí pa wà nínú àwọn tó jẹ́ wípé àwa náà ò ní rẹ́kọ́ọ̀dù dáadáa níwájú Ọlọ́run. The essence of we hoping for Almighty Allah's righteous day, the day of reckoning, which was mentioned in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, where Almighty Allah said, on that day, when the day comes, all those who used to claim that it's a lie, they will never have the mind to say that. They will never have the mouth to disclaim it, because Almighty Allah says the time would have come. Part of the activities of that day is that Allah will gather us together. He will get every one of us into an assembly. And at that assembly, He will divide us into three parts. The first part, those on the right path, how lucky are those on the right path? May Allah count me and you among those on the right path. The second part are those on the left side. The Quran says, how unlucky are those to be on the left side? those who do not have record with Allah, those whose activities does not merit the pleasure, the one of Allah. May Allah not count us among them. The third category are the sabikun, those who are in the forefront, those who have lived in the past, those who struggled with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the ashab al-sharif, those who left their homes and their properties and all the resources which Allah has given them and left them for the service of Islam. The Sayyidina Abu Bakr of our time, the Sayyidina Umar, the Sayyidina Uthman, the Sayyidina Ali, Karamallahu Wajiyahu, and all the companions of the Prophet. We are trying to be among them and to ensure that we are counted among them and to be part of those whom Almighty Allah has chosen. The essence of Ramadan, therefore, is for us to be able to have a class for ourselves, to have ourselves in a particular group which Almighty Allah has favored, to ensure that we also find ourselves on the path of the righteous Muslims, those whom Almighty Allah has completed his favors upon them, and those who will have the paradise as their reward on the day of judgment. That is the essence of our striving and making sure that we increase our activities in the month of Ramadan. Doing that is to ensure that all those activities that we are used to doing before Ramadan, we increase them, we double them, we triple them in the month of Ramadan. Because in case this is the last, then we want to ensure that we have the fullest of all rewards. All those things that Allah has promised a fasting Muslim. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu has told us, Man sawma Ramadan, imanan waqtisaban. Whoever has fasted in the month of Ramadan with strong faith and steadfastness will have himself getting out of Ramadan like somebody who has never committed any sin. Ghufrallahu min dhanbi. Allah will forgive him or her all the sins he or she must have committed. We want to be part of that group. We want to get out of Ramadan as cleansed as possible. We want to get out of Ramadan as a triumph Muslim. We want to get out of Ramadan as somebody who has gone through the trainings which Allah has given us, and we have attained a height in the sight of Allah. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Ramadan is an opportunity period, a period which Allah himself has chosen to reward those who strive in his cause, to reward those who want to be on the path of righteousness, and to assist Muslims who, one way or the other, want to be on the path of success in life. We should remember that whenever the Ramadan fast comes, three things are commanded by Allah. Allah will ask the angels to close all the gates of hellfire, to open all the gates of paradise. Futihati abwaab Jahannam. And in the course of doing this, Allah will say that the angels of Allah, all the shayateen, and their agents should be chained. The opening of all the doors of paradise, the closure of all the doors of hellfire, and the chaining of all the shaitan and all its agents, they are part of the preparation of Allah to make sure that we Muslims maximize the period of Ramadan. And in the course of doing that too, we ensure that we take the best out of the month of Ramadan. In case this is the last one, then we should try to redouble our efforts to perfect our arts and to make sure that we revise and revise again all the good deeds, all the amal salihah, and make sure that we try to practice what Prophet Muhammad has told us to practice, so that we'll be among the people of Al-Jannah. That is the essence of Ramadan fast. And that is why Muslims continue to strive in the month of Ramadan to ensure that we give our best and put in our best, and ensure that we do not in any way shirk our responsibilities in this holy month of Ramadan. Finally, my distinguished brothers and sisters in Islam, the month of Ramadan is an opportunity for you to reflect and to get the best for your hereafter, because the home of hereafter is not built there. The preparation for the hereafter is built here. All those credentials that is needed to get us into Al-Jannah are the works that we do here on earth, and for which we are going to enter into when we get to Almighty Allah. We should remember that Ramadan indoctrinates in us patience and unselfishness. It cultivates in us the vigilant and sound conscience. It teaches us the principles of sincere love, because when we observe the fasting, we love Almighty Allah, and that's why we engage in fasting. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that we can attain piety. No policeman is checking whether you are fasting or not, and yet you do not betray the trust which Allah has given you. The period of Ramadan allows us to apply moderation and the willpower, and the person who is fasting is properly and certainly a man who can discipline his passion and his desires, and he moves to a higher level of spiritual development. Ramadan provides man with transparent soul to transcend, a clear mind to think, and a light body with which to move and to act fast in our life. The period of Ramadan is a period of adaptation. We adapt to different situations in life. We have to wake up very early in the morning to take our sahur. We have to observe nawafil. We have to ensure that our sleeping during the period of Ramadan is reduced. We should remember that Mighty Allah has commanded Prophet Muhammad sallallahu Kumi layla illa qalila nisfahu aw kisimu minhu qalila aw zid alayhi wa rattil Qur'ana tartila. The Prophet has commanded, Allah has commanded the Prophet that he should wake up in the night, and half of the night, or even an increased more than half of the night. Wa rattil Qur'ana tartila. So the essence of our reduction in enjoyment in the period of Ramadan is to move us closer to Almighty Allah. Our eating has been regulated, our drinking has been regulated, our enjoyment even with our legal spouse is regulated, our speech making is regulated, what we see in the month of Ramadan is regulated, what we hear in the month of Ramadan is regulated. Every part of our body is involved, is engaged in fasting in the month of Ramadan. Not only our abstinence from food, the entire body, the entire component is involved, is engaged. And that is why at the end of the month, Allah says he will only give the reward to those who have sincerely fasted in the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan provides us with a healthy life, because we do not just eat, we eat moderately. We ensure that we live a life that will provide for us health. the more you eat, the more you engage yourself in some other problems of life. So we eat moderately, we drink moderately. So we live a healthy life. You get out of the month of Ramadan healthier than you were before the month of Ramadan. Therefore, in doing that, you're also helping your body to get closer to Allah. In case this is your last Ramadan, you want to maximize that so that you have the full reward with Allah that you have fasted in the month of Ramadan. Again, the Ramadan is a period when Almighty Allah Himself has opened His doors of Rahmah, the doors of Rahmah, for those who want to seek to enter into that Rahmah of Allah. And Ridwanullahi Akbar, the pleasure of Allah is the greatest thing that a man can never attain in life. Not your political office, not your academic office, not your matrimonial attainment in life, not how many children you have, not how many certificates you can brag around, not how many political offices you can occupy. No, the highest degree that a man can attain in life is the pleasure of Allah. And one of the best ways to seek the pleasure of Allah is to ensure that we fast very well, in the proper way, in the most rewarding way, in the sight of Allah, so that on the day of judgment, Allah will count us among those who will be on the path of righteousness. And that's like Islam has said, the Quran has mentioned that those who struggle with their souls to ensure that they fight against all immoral acts, all indecency, all acts of wickedness, then they will be among those who will attain the righteousness in the sight of Allah. Our prayer is that Allah should grant us many more opportunities of Ramadan in our lifetime. Our prayer is that Allah should let us have the opportunity to fast many more years in the month of Ramadan. And we pray that the one we have engaged in this year, may Allah give us the reward. Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas sami'ul alim. Wa tub alayna ya maulana innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Wahdina wa waffiqna ila al-haqqin wa ila tariqin mustaqim. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahma innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana afrigh alayna sabran wa thabbit aqdamana fansurna ala al-qawmil kafirin. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar wa adkhilna al-jannata ma'al abrar ya aziz ya ghafar ya rabbal alamin. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wassalamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Àmín. Jazakumullahu khairan jasa. Ọlọ́run má sábà san yín ní ẹ̀san dáadáa. Kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wà pẹ̀lú yín. We really enjoyed the lecture despite the time factor. Alhamdulillah. So you really make sure that you get up to the point. So alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. So Ọlọ́run á tún máa ṣe àlékún knowledge and hikmah. So in the path of Islam, inshallah. So kí Ọlọ́run kó bá wà pẹ̀lú. A dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ fún gbogbo nǹkan tí ẹ bá wa sọ. Òun náà ló dẹ̀ ti yé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa. What of if this is going to be our last Ramadan? So how freely are we prepared? And gbogbo lè ta dẹ̀ sí báwo la ṣe rò pa ṣe sí kí Ọlọ́run kí ó kó san wá ní ẹ̀san dáadáa. And there was a question that came in, okay o. Báwo ṣe gbogbo ìgbà náà ló yẹ kéèyàn máa gbogbo àló yẹ kéèyàn máa ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kéèyàn ó ṣe àbí kéèyàn máa wò pé tí mo bá miss tọdún yìí bóyá I will make it up next year. Tí mo bá miss tọdún yìí I will make it up next year. Ṣé next year yẹn tí ó ní ṣe pé ká máa retí pé gbogbo nǹkan gbọ́dọ̀ di next year àbí ká get it done now? We shouldn't wait till next year.
Alhamdulillah. Eléyìí tó dáa jù òun náà ni pé ńgbà t'Ọlọ́run ṣe fún wa l'opportunity báyìí káyà rí wípé a lò ó dáadáa ká má máa dúró di pé on the next year. Ta ló sọ fún wa pé next year yẹn ń bọ̀ torí pé rẹ́kọ̀dù t'Ọlọ́run ọba a máa rí àárín nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀. Káwa gbìyànjú lásìkò tá a wà yìí ká rí pa ṣe dáadáa káwa maximize dáadáa náà ká má dúró lórí pé a ti satisfy ara wa ká rí pé a tún ṣe ilé tó ṣe àlékún nínú àwọn iṣẹ́ wọ̀nyí iṣẹ́ olóore ni ká sì rí pa ṣe àlékún rẹ̀ ká má dúró di ọ̀la torí pé ọ̀la ń lè wá pẹ́ jù Ọlọ́run kó gbàdúrà wa.
Amen. And again, you mentioned something about wastage. So that's part of the lesson from Ramadan about wastage of food and some other stuff. Yeah, okay. Tabadanu oúnjẹ tó pọ̀, bóyá bíi mọ́ínmọ́ín bíi mẹ́wàá, ògì wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan, rice àti dòdò, gbogbo ẹ̀ la ṣe for iftar. At the end of the day, mélòó la díẹ̀ la jẹ mẹ́. Kò dẹ̀ sẹ́lómi ta fẹ́ fún. Táwọn pé wẹ́ oúnjẹ ọjọ́ kejì just left over, ẹ dànù, we prepare another one tomorrow. Does that reduce our reward from Ramadan or something like that?
Now, it is very important that we take note of the fact that àwọn oúnjẹ táwa ń waste yẹn, táwa ń dànù yẹn, àwọn ẹrú Ọlọ́run kan ń bẹ táwọn ń fẹ́, táwọn ò sì rí jẹ. Àwọn kan tí ẹ lè jẹun ẹ̀ẹ̀mejì lójúmọ́, táwa ń jẹ bí ẹ̀ẹ̀mẹwàá lójúmọ́ yẹn. Ká rántí dáadáa wípé bá a ṣe ń waste ẹ̀ yẹn, ó wà nínú àwọn tí máa ń bí Ọlọ́run ọba nínú, torí pé tó yẹ ká fi ṣàánú àwọn èèyàn, táwa wá ń dànù, táwa ń waste ẹ̀, táwọn ẹrú Ọlọ́run ọba kan sì ń bẹ táwọn nídìí ẹ̀. Àwa tá a wá ń dànù yìí bí ìgbà tá à ń da oore Ọlọ́run ọba nù ni ká ṣọ́ra fún israf ká rí pé à ń ṣe nǹkan wa ní ìwọ̀ntúnwọ̀nsì èyí tá a rí pé a lè jẹ òun náà ni ká máa ṣe ká rántí pé àwọn kan ń bẹ táwọn ò tiẹ̀ lágbára ẹ̀ ó wu àwọn náà káwọn náà jẹ ó wu àwọn káwọn náà kó oúnjẹ sílé ṣùgbọ́n wọn ò lágbára ẹ̀ torí pé wọn wá lágbára ẹ̀ yẹn káwọn wá ṣàánú wọn káwọn má máa waste oúnjẹ torí pé kí ni ara ìbínú Ọlọ́run ọba òun náà ni pé kéèyàn ó máa dá oúnjẹ nù.
Does that mean we should not have the full reward of our fasting?
We will have the reward, but we should also note that in the course of that, ara tó lè ṣe àlékún reward wa, òun náà ni pé ká assist àwọn èèyàn, ká dẹ̀ rí pé tún wá ṣe wastages. And in the course of that, the reward of Almighty Allah on our fast is intact. But ara àwọn nǹkan tó lè jẹ́ kùdìẹ̀kùdìẹ̀ nínú àwọn ààwẹ̀ wa òun náà ni rẹ́gítà mention yìí. Ara àwọn nǹkan tó lè jẹ́ àwọn àbújẹ́-ǹjẹ́kù látara having our full reward with the Almighty Allah is those kind of acts that Almighty Allah displays because Allah does not love those who waste food.
Alhamdulillah. And again, in your lecture, you mentioned something, I think you refer to Surah Al-Waqiyah. Maybe Quran 55 or 56. I'm not sure. 56. Okay, yeah. Quran 56 for record purpose. No. For record purpose, Quran 56. So, audience, you can check it yourself. Quran 56. You mentioned something about Allah is going to categorize us into 3 parts or something like that. So, some people, they used to say something that, okay, over. So anything about seeing the first maybe Asabikuna, the Mukarabin, but maybe they're going to be in the Wasalamulaka Allah Kiniko Yemin, the right people. So are we supposed to be trying to strive harder to be with the 4th set? Or Tabakanti wa need the second one, Abi Kakan Wope Olorun Amabo se ma manage fún wa. Are we supposed to be thinking that Allah will know how to manipulate, or we should just try as much as possible to be among the 4th set?
Ìgbìyànjú wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí Mùsùlùmí ó ní pé ká wà lára àwọn 4th set. Gbogbo ìgbìyànjú wa náà ni pé ká wá rí pé ká máa struggle ká rí pé àwa náà wà lára àwọn tó yẹ pé as-sabiqun ulaika al-muqarrabuna fi jannati na'im. Ọlọ́run ti fún wọn ní certificate wọn látàyè lọ́lọ́run ti fún wọn ní certificate wọn pé ibi tẹ́ ń lọ ni. Àwọn ló yẹ ká máa strive fún. Àwọn ni models wa, the model for the righteous. A gbọ́dọ̀ gbé picture wọn síwájú. Báwo làwọn ashabu wọ̀nyí, àwọn sahaba Ànábì wa Muhammad, báwo náà ṣe lò gbésí ayé wọn? Báwo ni ìṣẹ̀mí wọn? Báwo làwọn ṣe ṣe tó fi rọ̀ wọ́n lọ́rùn? Báwo làwọn ṣe dúró ti Ànábì wa Muhammad sallam gbàtán gbọ́ àgbọ́yé Islam tán? Báwo náà ṣe ṣe tó fi di pé wọ́n rí irú ipò bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn níwájú Ọlọ́run Ọba? So we should struggle to be among them. We should struggle not to be among those whom Almighty Allah has categorized on the left side, because gbogbo ìgbà tí èèyàn bá ti ń gbìyànjú tó ń rí pé òun dúró láti rí pé òun gba ládá tó ga jù yóò mọ̀ súnmọ́ Ọlọ́run Ọba the more náà ni. Ká máa rántí pé gbogbo tá a bá ń ṣe a fi ń wá ojú rí Ọlọ́run Ọba ni. Ṣùgbọ́n èyí tó bá yẹ pé a lè ṣe láti lè fi pé àti ẹ̀ lágbára rẹ̀ láti lè fi dé position kan káwa wá make sure pé àwa dúró ní dúró Mùsùlùmí. Ntọ́lọ́run Ọba ní ká ṣe ká máa ṣe, èyí tó ní ká jìnnà sí ká máa jìnnà sí. kábàlẹ̀ wà lẹ́ni tó yẹ pé yóò wà nínú sáfù àwọn ẹni rere. Sáfù àwọn ẹni rere náà ní pàtàkì níjọ́ gbéǹde àlìkìyámà.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So the last question here, inshallah, is just to buttress all what you just told us tonight. Like, we should be thinking if this is going to be our last Ramadan. So our question later, okay, for some people to just during Ramadan, iftar or maybe zahur or something like that. Láti gbé lọ sí mọ́sálásí. Ẹni tó prepare oúnjẹ láti ilé tó gbé sí mọ́sálásí. Tó oúnjẹ bá ti dé mọ́sálásí, sẹ́ni yẹn náà ló sì ní oúnjẹ yẹn ni àbí oúnjẹ yẹn ti dóúnjẹ jẹmọ́. Àbúrò ní wàá jókòó tí pé ẹni tó bá wù mí ni màá fún nínú oúnjẹ sínú àbí ní oúnjẹ jẹ sàárì kán fi mọ̀ páwà la gbé wá. So is there any...
téèyàn bá ti fẹ́ ṣe irú iṣẹ́ olóore báyìí tó bá ti dá tán tó dẹ̀ ti gbé fún wọn gbogbo ohun tó kù pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ kò sí tó kàn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ mọ́. Òun ni ó ti gbé fún wọn, òun ti ṣe tiẹ̀ fún Ọlọ́run ọba. Gbogbo distribution ni ta ni mo máa fún ni àbí kan máa wojú pé lágbájá báyìí ni mo fẹ́ rí fún rárá, kò sí tó kàn pẹ̀lú yẹn mọ́. Òun ti ṣe tiẹ̀ fọ́lọ́run la nuridu minkum jaza'an wala shukura. Ó ti ṣe lóore fún àwọn iṣẹ́ olóore ni. Òun dẹ̀ ti ṣètò tiẹ̀. Tó bá ti wá ṣe tán, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Òun ni kó fi ilẹ̀ fún àwọn elétò kan máa ṣètò ẹ̀bùn ní pínpín ẹ̀ bọ́n ṣe fáwọn èèyàn, ta ló tọ́ sí, ta ni ó yẹ ká ṣe fún. Tá bá rántí dáadáa ní fún issue zakat tọ́lọ́run bá sọ nínú Quran chapter 9 verse 60, Ọlọ́run dárúkọ àwọn categories 8 àwọn èèyàn. Categories 8 yìí tìgbà tí wọ́n bá ti yọ tiẹ̀ tán tó mọ̀ pé tó ti yọ fún ni alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Quran kan fún wa ní guide ni. Ẹ̀ntẹ̀lẹ̀ yọ fún ni, ẹ̀ntẹ̀lẹ̀ yọ fún ni, ẹ̀ntẹ̀lẹ̀ yọ fún ni. Tí o bá ti ṣe tiẹ̀ yẹn, alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Tó bá lè jẹ́ pé nínú akoto náà ló jù sí, gẹ́gẹ́ bí tó gbé sàárà lọ sí mọ́ṣáláṣí, àwọn elétò mọ́ṣáláṣí ni wọ́n máa ṣètò bọ́ọ̀lẹ̀ ṣe ṣẹ́jú ẹ̀. Kò sí tó kàn pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ mọ́, torí pé kí ni òun ti ṣe tiẹ̀ fún Ọlọ́run ọba fi sabilillah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Ọlọ́run bá san ní ẹ̀san dáadáa. So adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ for the clarification and everything. Because of the time, I know it's almost time for your Zahur in Nigeria, while we are about to round up at Masjid here too. So to just have a little nap before we wake up for Tajud, inshallah, bi qur'atillahi ta'ala. So adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ ọba tí ó ní kí a ti jọjọ wà láti ẹ̀sìn, ó tún sọ wá di ọdún yìí. Ó bá tún di ọdún tó bọ̀, ó ní kí a rí yín bá, kí ẹ̀yin náà tó rí àwa náà, ká tún lè pera wa náà pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run ọba, kí a fi kúlú aláwòrán sẹ́sẹ́ nìkan kan nínú wa báyìí inshallah bi qur'atillahi. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ àárí ní àsìkò kájẹ̀ ní Ramadan tí ó máa pẹ́. Ní orúkọ àwọn bàbá wa àgbàlẹ̀ kí Sheikh Muhammad Yusuf Bímọ Ọlálẹ́yẹ, a kí yín, adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yín. Bàbá ní ká kí yín, bí Ọlọ́run bá tún bá kí yín ju bá ti lérò pa lè kí yín lọ. Gbogbo àwọn elétò the school and the board of trustee, gbogbo àwọn ìyá àdínì, ìyá súnà, so mọ́jọ́ bàjẹ́ ìyá àdínì náà ni wọ́n ń kí yín yẹn pé adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ yín o. So that's ìyá àdínì àwọn náà gbogbo ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan náà wọ́n mọ̀ torí àsìkò gbogbo náà ni they really enjoy the lecture inshallah bi qur'atillahi, and inshallah we let you know when from the permission from the Baba Imam. So maybe it's not going to be only in Ramadan. Maybe it's not going to be only in Ramadan. We find time, outside Ramadan, then we'll be having something like this, inshallah. So we thank Allah. We benefit from the COVID. Because of the COVID, we might not be able to have this virtual something. We'll be waiting until you come to United States so that we can see you physical. Then you give us the lecture. But now, without being there physical, then we can still enjoy the beautiful lecture. So kí Ọlọ́run kó bá sẹ́yìn ní ẹ̀san dáadáa. Ní orúkọ gbogbo àwọn elétò àti ẹ ṣé gan ni Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kí a sọdún ayọ̀. Kò ní sílẹ̀ láti lọ fún wa inshallah bi qudratullah. So salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you, sir. So alhamdulillah, adúpẹ́ púpọ̀ ní ọwọ́ ọgbẹ̀yìn ìyá wa. A kú iṣẹ́ ọrẹ, a kú iṣẹ́ ládá, a kú àtàárọ̀. A rí pé we have a longer day, inshallah. This is our weekend. So some of us, we are still in masjid, alhamdulillah. Àwa tá dẹ̀ ń wọlé náà, Ọlọ́run kó bá san yín ní ẹ̀san dáadáa. So a kú palẹ̀mọ́ ọdún. As we all know, inshallah, everything is in order this year. We started Ramadan with one voice. So our Eid is going to be one too, inshallah, alhamdulillah. So kò sí pé àwọn kan kírun lánàá, àwọn kan kírun lénìí. Ìjọ kan náà gbogbo wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run. Ìjọ kan náà òun náà ni ìrun náà ó bọ́ sí. Kò sí Eid ní èní Sunday, Eid di ọ̀la Monday, all over the world. Kò sí ìyapa nínú ẹ̀. A dúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run ọba. So pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run ọba, the mission board
wọ́n máa sọ gbogbo time tí àbámọ̀ kírun gbogbo ẹ̀ máa rí lé orí ìgbà tán bá wọn secretary sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n á gbé sórí kíní time tí irun máa jẹ́ ní Monday inshallah ta'ala kí Ọlọ́run kí ó sọ wá ju ìjọ Monday lọ kí Ọlọ́run kó wà pẹ̀lú wa ẹyọ kan tó kù iná Ọlọ́run dákun mọ́sà jẹ́ kí a gbà pẹ̀lú rọrùn mọ́sí alẹ́ ni tí ó rọrùn kẹyọ kan yìí tó parí bí Ramadan náà bá dẹ̀ tún parí náà mọ́jà adágbére báyìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí lecture tán fún wa lálẹ́ yìí mọ́sí ilé láṣìmọ́ fún wa wọn ká prepare gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá ń ṣe ká mọ̀ wò pé bí lè bá jẹ́ the last one kí nìkan tá a fẹ́ lọ jíṣẹ́ fọ́lọ́run àbọ̀wò la fẹ́ lọ fún Ọlọ́run àtọ̀gá àtọmọṣẹ́ àtọkọ àtìyàwó àtolórí àtàwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn àti gbogbo ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan náà fún kálukú náà kó yẹ gbogbo ẹ̀ náà wò ọba tí ń gba iṣẹ́ ẹ̀dá ọlọ́mọṣà gbaṣẹ́ wa mọ́ dàlú wa láyà ó wà pẹ̀lú ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa ọlá àlùbáríkà àwọn ẹni rẹ̀ àmọ́ dágbére fúnra wa pé Ọlọ́run má fi eléyìí ṣe àṣemọ fún wa lórílẹ̀ and this one is going to be our last virtual Ramadan lecture Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So because tomorrow is going to be a free day for us, inshallah, which our Baba will take care for that one in the masjid tomorrow, inshallah. Láti máa fi prepare fún Eid. Gbogbo àwa tí ìwọ náà wá sí mọ́sálásí lọ́la káyọ̀ jọ prepare gbogbo bá ṣe tẹ́ ní ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ fún àwọn èèyàn tí ó kírun ní ìjọ Monday. Àwa náà tún gbalada. Be at masjid. Don't just come to eat alone. Be the part of people to make sure everything is in order. Àtẹni àṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ àtúnbẹ̀ ṣe gbogbo kálukú náà Ọlọ́run kó tún ìgbésí ayé ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa náà ṣe Ọlọ́run kó san wá lẹ́san dáadáa o. We thank you again for the opportunity given to me especially to moderate this program from the beginning to the end despite the fact we are far away to each other and alhamdulillah Allah make it easy inshallah with the blessing of this place that we here in Saudi Arabia. So kí Ọlọ́run kí ó wọlá gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n ń tà wá fún nílé Ọlọ́run kó gbàdúrà gbogbo àwa tí a wà nílé Ọlọ́run wọlé ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé náà Ọlọ́run kó gbàdúrà wa náà níbí náà àtẹ̀yìn àtàwa Ọlọ́run já pàdé pẹ̀lú dáadáa. So àtúnkíwá lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí wọ̀nyẹ̀wọ̀nyà nínú ẹ̀sìn tí Ọlọ́run kó dúró tì wá kó wà pẹ̀lú wa. Jazakumullahu khaira. The technical crew tí ẹ wà behind the screen tí gbogbo ẹ fi ń ṣe bó ṣe ń ṣe yìí látòrí alájì wa Muhyiddin Adesanu Ọlọ́run o mọ́sàbá tún ṣàánú yín kó orúkọ yín kó ṣàánú yín. So you make sure everything is in order. So for the technical side, no dull moment, no network failure. So Ọlọ́run Elédùmarè àbá tún máa tàn ìmọ́lẹ̀ dáadáa sínú ìgbésí ayé yín àbá wà pẹ̀lú yín. Our Secretary General, every time we send it to you, you make sure you send it out. You don't keep it, you don't doctor anything, you send it out. You disseminate the information at the right time. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to perfect all your affairs, whatever that is concern you, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant it for you, inshallah. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nídìí pé okay wà nídìí owó ẹ send báyìí sí báyìí tẹ́ ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó bá san yín lẹ́san dáadáa kó bá wà pẹ̀lú yín. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ pé ẹ̀yin lẹ wà nídìí money management tá à ń gbowó ní mọ́sálásí ní gbogbo ìgbà tẹ́ jẹ́ kí ilé Ọlọ́run kó ṣòfò ẹ mọ́ra yín Ọlọ́run náà sì mọ̀ yín ọba tí ń san ẹ̀dá lẹ́san Ọlọ́run sábà san yín lẹ́san. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin house leaders lọ́tún lósì ibi tó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Abubakar house, Uthman house, Umar àti Ali tí wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣe lọ́wọ́ náà Ọlọ́run kó wà pẹ̀lú gbogbo yín kó bá dúró tì yín. The captain, the leader, the coordinator of all the captains and leaders, so everybody tó wà ń bẹ̀ Ọlọ́run kó bá san ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan yín náà lẹ́san. Mọ́ ṣe lè ní àṣemọ́ Ramadan fún gbogbo wa ọlá àlùbáríkà wọn Ọlọ́run mọ́ ṣe lè láṣemọ́ Ọlọ́run mọ́ ṣe lè láṣemọ́ Ọlọ́run mọ́ ṣe lè láṣemọ́. Tonight is going to be the last virtual tafsir for this year 2022 equivalent of 1443 AH Nigeria calendar. Kí Ọlọ́run kó mọ́ ṣe lè ní àṣemọ́ Ọlọ́run kó wà pẹ̀lú wa o. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Amana rasulu bima unsila ilayhi min rabbi wal mu'minuna kullu amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi la nufarriqu bayna ahadin min rusuli wa qalu sami'na wa ata'na ghufranaka rabbana wa ilaykal masir. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha laha ma kasabat wa 'alayha ma iktasabat. Rabbana la tu'akhidhna in nasina wa khata'na. Rabbana wa la tahmil 'alayna isran kama hamalta 'ala alladhina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tu'ammilna ma la taqata lana bihi. Wa'fu 'anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurina 'ala al-qawmil kafirin. Látọ̀run àbáwá Imam àgbà tó fi gba wa mission board pátá Alhaji wa Adeleke àbáwá Jíbọ́lá àfáwà Muhammad Kabir Rasim ọlọ́tọ̀ nǹkan alukurani tó ń lè diwa àfáwà Mansur Adémọ́lú àfáwà Tọ́hírù Ìsọ̀lá àfáwà Misbah ọlọ́tọ̀ àfáwà Misbah Ọlágúnjú gbogbo ẹ̀yin àfáà tá à ń ṣètò nínú Ramadan Ọlọ́run dákun mọ́sà kún ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa wá wọlá gbogbo yín tá a tọrọ fún yín náà àwa the spokesperson yín náà Ọlọ́run dákun má dà wá láàmú nílé, má dà wá láàmú lọ́nà, ní gbogbo ọ̀nà má dà wá láàmú, pléènì wa má jẹ́ ọjà àlọ́ àtàbọ̀ Ọlọ́run jó máa dáa, àìnímọ̀ wímọ̀ àìnímọ̀ sọmọ ọlọ́mọ fi ṣàdánwò fún wa ọlá àlùbáríkà. Àlàáfíà tí yẹn fi ń ṣe gbogbo ètò yìí ó wà nílé kò sí ní anywhere tọ́lọ́run dẹ̀ ní kó mọ ṣeéṣe, àlàáfíà náà ni, àlékún àlàáfíà mọ́sàwọlé ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan yín náà ọlọ́mọṣà ṣe fún Ọlọ́run ọba. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá sàmí tínú ẹ̀ ń dùn sí wa tó fẹ́ràn wa tọkàntọkàn torí tọlọ́run, gbogbo àwọn ọmọ tí náà ọlọ́mọṣà jẹ́ ń yà dáadáa ọlá àlùbáríkà àwọn ènìyàn Ọlọ́run. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wassalamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.